Guys, one of the reasons why God was saying that your past cannot come with you, right? That you must forget the past and leave certain things in the past is because the past is just too familiar, right? The past is just too familiar. They're too familiar with you, right? Or who they think that you were or who they think you should be, right? And that is not going to allow you to grow, right? Now remember Christ, right? They said that, oh, wasn't that the carpenter's son? Isn't that son of Joseph? So everybody was so familiar with him. And if people are too familiar with you, sometimes it's not going to be possible for you to effect any change, right? Because they're too familiar with your little mistakes or familiar with little you who did not see as much. So because they weren't on the journey that God was working on you and fixing you and changing you, they missed out the whole of that part. It's hard for you to just give them a crash course, right? At this last moment, now that they're seeing the new you. They cannot fathom. They have no capacity to fathom who you've become over the period of time that God has worked on you. And so it is hard, right? This is why Christ didn't go around trying to convince anybody as to who he was. Those from his hometown recognized him as a carpenter's son, but he was able to do great things abroad. He was able to change lives abroad. And this is why for some of you, God is going to have to take you out of your hometown, move you from where you are to a different city, because you will not be able to do anything in your country because everybody knows you there, and who they know you as is little QQ from around there. You're just little Tisha from around there, or you're just Sharon the baker from down there. But who God knows you as is bigger than that, right? God knows you as his prophet, as his prophetess, as his chosen, as his king, as his leader, right? That's who God knows you as. And some of you, it's not like you have a bad past either. You haven't done anything bad in your past to warrant anybody to deem you unrighteous or deem you to go through the things that you've been through. It's just that people just know you how they know you in their own terms, in their own perceptions, with their own projections, and that can really limit you, right? That can really limit you. So one of the reasons why God said to just leave the past or forget about your past is because it's too familiar, and familiarity breeds contempt. Familiarity breeds contempt. Familiarity will hold you back. Familiarity, your past, will hold you back. There's no way you can move on to the future looking at the past, right? People are not going to give you credit for who you've become and what you've accomplished. All they see when they look at you is who you should have been, that little quiet person who does not speak up for themselves. You're not supposed to be bold. How dare you shout and you're chosen? How dare you shout and you're a woman of God? So they want you to be this little boxed in person. They want you to remain as the idea that they've perceived you for. And you're way more than that, right? So the familiarity is not going to allow you to grow. The familiarity will box you in. The familiarity will put a leash on you. The familiarity is never ever going to see you with new eyes, right? And with who you really are. Because one of the things people don't understand is that you grow, and like I said before, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have grown from something bad. You're just a different person now. You've grown. You've really put on the whole armor of God. You have spiritual eyes now, can see. You are not just in this dimension, but you're interdimension. You are in the physical and you're also in the spiritual at the same time. So you do not perceive things the way the regular person sees things, and people do not understand these things. And so the familiarity and your past will quickly be the ones to label you, to say, to give an update about you. Oh, this person is so and so and so and so, in their own terms, in their own words of how they remember you from the past, not the new you, who God has polished, who God has refined, who God has given intellect and spiritual knowledge and emotional intelligence, right? They're not gonna see this you, because they do not have eyes to even see themselves. Therefore they cannot see you. There's no way they can see you. And so a lot of you, one of the reasons why you're not moving forward, and as God has been showing you, is because you keep holding on to your past. You keep holding on to things of the past, people of the past, situations of the past, places of the past, which cannot see you for who you are and for where you are going. and will never see you. So your past can be limitations unless they are spiritually mature, unless they have eyes to see the way your Yeshua HaMashiach sees you, or how Yahweh sees you. Then other than that, you're in big problems. You're not gonna survive. You're not gonna reach anywhere much around these people who think they know you, who wants to put labels from you, who want to project their insecurities and their know-it-all on you. And shame on them to think that, for them to think that they know you more than you and more than how God knows you. People want to go to God praying about you, and God is like shaking his head because he knows you. But you have to understand that when people grow up seeing you every day, or when people are used to you being a particular way, it's hard for them to understand or to have the capacity to know that people can change, people can evolve, people can grow, and people doesn't have to remain the same, and people don't have to answer to you, and people don't have to fit in with majority, and people don't have to limit themselves in boxes and bottles and jars and the society and in matrices. And so it's hard for them to understand that. And so chosen ones and black sheep and remnants, Israelites, wheat, I'm speaking to you. This is one of the reasons why God has been saying you have to just leave certain things in the past. You will not be valued. You'll not be understood. You'll not be pardoned. Remember what they said about Christ? They said that he was gluttonous, parring with sinners, that he was a drunkard. Right? Because people do not have the level of maturity to understand that we are also human. Even though you're a messenger of God, and nothing is wrong if you sip on a glass of wine occasionally. They want to zoom in with a microscope on you, looking for faults every day. They will tell you that you're not of God if you ever act human, and they will provoke you from now till next year and expect no feedback. They don't want the human side to come out, because they want to keep you limited. They want to keep you right where they want you. It's about control and manipulation so that it can fit, so that they can feel good about themselves, so that they can compare themselves to you, which you cannot be compared. Never. Right? So that they can keep you where you are. So understand that the reason why you have to, go through your relationships, use wisdom, fast and pray, ask God who is for who. Sometimes you have to leave families behind, spouses, friends, associates, because some people most people will never ever see you for who you truly are. And they will hold on to one thing from your past that's very bad, that they can relate to every time to keep you down, because it makes them feel good about themselves. And they will tell everybody that one thing, and they will replay it every chance they get. But in your wisdom, you understand, and you understand that it's human nature, because God has given you a higher understanding. So you don't judge these people, you simply understand who they are and you move accordingly, because you have sight beyond. So you don't judge, you're not bitter, you know how to keep your peace. You just understand things for what they are and you act accordingly. But this is why a king is never accepted in his own country. Too familiar remnants. So this is definitely one of the reasons why you have to leave your past behind. They don't understand. They don't have the spiritual eyes or maturity to understand. They think that you see people the way you see people, even when you do complain about certain things or have issues. Yes, you're human, so you're going to have issues with people, but at your heart, they cannot see your heart. They don't really know you. Right?